What's good, my man of society? It is your host with the most shadow look back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, I was sent a clipping, right, but one of my subscribers who it was a link to um Chemo Flix's channel. Chemo Flix had put a short, and then the short, um, it was a short of a channel named Triple P, I think, and he had posted a video of a TikToker who had claimed that Gunner Collective had stole her content, right? So I went to that guy Triple C's channel and I scoped out the video about this girl who said that Gunner's Collective had stole her content. That she had did an interview with with a female, and apparently Gunner took her interview, clipped her out of the interview, and posted it up as his own interview, his own content. So I know these individuals get down dirty, right? I know that they have no morals, they have no shame, and I get their whole you know wanting to be an influencer and by any means, right? But at the same time, this is ridiculous, though. You get what I mean? I mean, it's not the first time that somebody has made these allegations against Gunner's Collective. Gunner has a thing where he, claims to have the connections for everything, right? Like, oh, I have inside sources, or I have inside information, or I know someone who knows someone. But in all true reality, most of these things he doesn't have no connections. He just makes educated guess, right? He observes the contents, and he does somewhat his homework, and then he then goes and says that he knows someone who's related to whatever content he's speaking about, and then he starts to milk it, for what it's worth. Once he sees that a video starts to get good traction, like it does good views, he'll milk that subject to the last dot. It's not that he actually cares about the actual subject. He frames it that way, that he actually cares about what he's speaking about, but he doesn't. He sees that this topic is getting views, and that's why he starts to make multiple videos about the same thing. With the Danny Masterson, the Emmanuel Hado case, with Stockton shooting, and et cetera, right? Um, he claims to know people that are locked up in these prisons with these individuals, or someone that lives close to them. But in reality, he's just guessing and making up stuff. Most of the time it's just a bunch of word salad, right? He's not really saying nothing new on the subject, right? He's just talking about it from multiple different perspectives, right? But to actually take somebody else's content, remove them out of the content, and try to pass it off as your interview when it's actually someone else's interview is actually sad and a lame move to do. You know what I mean? Normally, I don't like to call out, get involved in drama and stuff like that, but this is by far, probably the dirtiest move I have seen so far of any of these individuals. Of course, the girl was upset. She's calling him out because she said on the comments she's seen that people are writing, good things to Gunner, like, oh, good thing that you got in touch with the family and care about the family, building relationship. When in reality, it was that girl's interview, and he's trying to pass it off as his own, which in itself is a foul move. You know what I mean? But he'll do anything. He'll do anything. Like I said, he has no shame by any means. And he literally tried to pass off people's content as his own, like he has connections or he's tapped in with people. He's tapped in with nobody, bro. And that's the truth. You know what I mean? Like I said, no active individuals that are in the streets are, tapped in with these individuals. These individuals don't have connection plugs like that. And that's not hating. That's the honest truth, bro. Because of their background. But, to take somebody else's content who's not even a person who's street related, who's just, like a normal, young girl who, is thriving on social media, and then trying to rob her of her content and trying to pass it off as your own is that's as lame as it gets, bro. You know what I mean? Um, but like I said, as long as the people don't know the truth, they're able to, work through the shadows. But in all true reality, That's not a good tactic, and that's a dirty move, bro. You know what I mean? Straight up, that's as phony as it comes. And I'm just giving you my honest, true opinion, no filter, right here. That's just some. Like I said, bro, I don't know how people could support that, but I'm saying, Shadow, we out.